Harvey, your first meeting is with Carla Berman. Get there an hour early so you have time to look around and gather questions for your meeting. Follow any leads you can for the Miller report. Good luck and don't trust anyone.
Damn it, Jim. I'm a duck. Not a security guard. Hey man, I'm just a girl standing in front of a guy asking her to love him. Well, I don't see anyone else here, so you must be talking to me. What's that, Skippy? There's a boy stuck in the mines? Oh, jeez, Mr. Miller, is it? We weren't expecting you for another 20 minutes. Not a problem at all. Welcome to Bowman Carson. My name's Steve Crow. Apologies for the protesting outside. I hope it wasn't too hard to get through them. If you don't mind, can you place your briefcase down on the conveyor belt there so I can check it for you? Okay, great. I just need to check through it. Sorry about this. Right, this all seems to be in order. Here's your ID badge. If you could just follow me to the security desk. there's no other land for me. Damn it, he's got that song stuck in my head.
Ah, Mr. Miller. We didn't expect you so early. Let me just print your agenda. Give me a second. Your first is... speak of the devil. Carla, this is Mr. Miller from the Turing Post. You have a meeting today, I believe.
Yes, of course. A pleasure to meet you, Mr. Miller. Is it that time already?
No. Mr. Miller is just fashionably early.
Good. For a moment I thought I was running behind. I'll be ready in my office for our meeting as scheduled. I have to run, I'm afraid, but we'll speak soon. Thank you, Dan.
Righty-o, Carla. Right, here's your agenda.
Great. Why don't you read that over and put it in your briefcase for safekeeping? I suppose that's everything from me. If you need anything further, you know where I am.
Nice painting, but what does it mean? Hey, what's up?
Hi, Steve.
Hey, listen, about the...
It's fine. What are you up to, anyway? You got a busy day?
Yeah, you could say that. Oh, hey, Dan's been going on about some email about your password or something?
Oh, not this again.
What's going on?
Oh, it's stupid.
Really? I don't know what it's about. Just that it's a security risk or something?
Only if you're flipping psychic. Honestly, it's getting to be a joke.
Why?
Basically, my password is written on one of the items on my desk. Nobody would know that, though. Everyone would just stop talking about it.
Oh, I see. What's the password?
I'm not telling you, dummy.
Hey.
Anyway, what are you up to tonight? You want to talk with us?
Maybe. I can't really afford it today, so...
Oh, come on. I'll sort you out.
Sort me out.
Hi, Mr. Miller. Looking sharp, Mr. Miller.
Hello, I'm your host Steve Summerfield, and as always I'm going to be playing you all the hits from the 60s, the 70s, and right now. Okay, enough talking.
Access denied.
Hello again. How are you? Hi, Mr. Miller.
Fletcher, a rare gem of a find in the modern art world, beginning his life in the small town of Pinwheel on the south coast of England. This marvelous artist led a rather troubled childhood. After a long haul working in the southern tin mines and 2 tours in the army during World War II, Fletcher decided to return back to his old home and his long-lost love and take up painting in his later years. Thankfully, as he did, we now have some very rare pictures depicting the scenery of those southern delights, the dull horrors that exist within a mine, and the more baser memories that keep one's mind intact during times of hardship and turmoil. As you look around the gallery today, try and take in the delights of this wonderful exhibition, simply entitled Memories.
Please insert token. Please insert token. Hello. You've reached the Lost Property Office. There's nobody available to take your call at the moment. For any inquiries, visit Gemma Hughes in room 103 on floor 1. Alternatively, if you know which locker your possessions are in, please bring the relevant access card. Thank you.
Hey.
Так, в 103 надо бежать. Окей. Так, что-то вообще не туда ушел. Окей. Ходи, 103 кабинет.
Next up, we've got the bandit.
We're not sure. You know, Alex, it could be anywhere. Well, for now, we're looking for a floppy disk. I'll let you know if that changes. Yeah. Fine. Okay, I'll talk later.
Steve, I'm just getting a drink of water. Can you cover me?
I'm not ready for our meeting yet, Mr. Miller. Can you come back later?
I'm just checking something out. Is someone in here?
Please enter PIN. Code denied.
Not again. I hate this new system.
Hey, Mr. Miller, I know you probably don't know anything about this, but something happened in one of the out-of-bounds areas earlier on. So if you could just stay in the allocated areas, just for your safety, that would be great. Thanks.
Hello, Harvey.
Please enter PIN. Code accepted. Access granted.
Блин, ну сейчас так, любой фактор. Так. Двадцать два, 76. Так, позвони мне, так, 002318.
You have no new messages.
Блин, что-то непонятно, что делать. Окей.
Is someone in here? Whoever it was, they ain't here now.
Steve, I'm leaving my desk for 15 minutes now.
Так.
am I doing with my life?
Так, Дислера надо найти, вспомнить его пароль.
No floppy disks detected. No floppy disks detected. No floppy disks detected.
Hey, why are you here?
I'm sorry, sir, but we're done.
You have to leave this area. Come with me.
Out
as the day goes on. I'm Richard Porter.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
I'm sorry,
Okay,
Mr. Miller, we can't
right.
keep doing this.
Thank you.
You have to leave this area with me. Come on. I'm sorry, Mr. Miller, we can't keep doing this. You have to leave this area.
Fuck. Чё за надо?
Right, I've heard some alarming news. Steve tells me you've been found in a staff-only area. I cannot stress enough, Mr. Miller. The information housed in this facility is under the most strict protection. We can't have just anyone going through the public's private information now, can we? I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt this time. I appreciate you have a job to do. But so do I, Mr. Miller. So please, from now on, stick to the rules, okay? Your next appointment is with Miss Berman. I trust you know the way.
Да блин, где эти звонки найти?
Could all visitors and employees please note, due to the protesting outside, we advise against opening or remaining close to windows that overlook the main street. This is just a precautionary measure. Thank you. I'm a wee bit busy, I'm afraid.
Just like a cassette, baby, you wind me up like crazy. I turn around and start again. Wrap tape around my heart, side A is just the start. Can't wait to hit record again. When I'm running around my party with the speaker outside, and everybody else joins in. When I'm rolling around my party with my heart.
Carla, 10 days. 10 bloody days. How the hell could you have kept this from me? I swear to God, my family are going to be deported because of you and I could have done something about it. Why the hell didn't you tell me? Why the hell didn't you tell me? This is your fault. Everything that happens next is your fault.
No floppy disks detected. Attention, floppy disk corrupted. Use Data Doctor to amend corrupted disks.
nothing, but I'm just gonna check something out. You're in there, you gotta come up. What are you doing?
Steve, I'm just getting a drink of water. Can you cover me?
Leave this area now. Come on. You need to get out of this area. Now, come on. Running away is not gonna help. I'm still gonna catch you, Mr. Miller.
Harvey, I just received an anonymous fax. Do you know where the Turing meeting room is? It seems as though Alex Dubois may have hidden some information in there which proves the Bowman-Carson group are intentionally inflating figures based around the Union Act. If you're able to find the evidence, it may help inform the public about what the truth is here. I'm sure Carla Berman may have a thing or two to say about those figures, since she's the one spreading them in her print media. Anyway, let me know what you find.
I'm sitting, that sounds like favoritism. Or perhaps you realize that everyone in the vicinity will start to see.
Maybe that far ahead. That's where it started for me. I could start to see him justify the things he wanted as being things the country needed. In fact, he could just look at people as numbers on a list. Like I said, I have no proof.
Technicalities aside, do you think he did the right thing? What's your take on the Union Act? You don't sound as enthused as some of the people you work with.
I follow the law like every other citizen.
Mrs. Carson, I'm not here to entrap you. I just want to get a clear picture of everyone's motive.
Да блин, где распечатка?
Dan, I think somebody may be around here. I'll let you know.
Please insert token.
Harvey, I've been going through more of Alex's interview tapes. I found something quite alarming that seems to have been very quickly dismissed. He says his keycard was stolen earlier on the day of the explosion. He said he tried to log it with Carla Berman. I'm not sure how frequently she leaves her office, but if you can somehow gain access, you may be able to find evidence linking her to Alex's keycard.
Mr. Miller, there's a lot of sensitive information in here. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt this time, but in the future, please, just stay out.
The events leading up to the night of the attack. Now, I have to ask. You said that your husband and Charles Bowman drafted the act. How was Michael involved in this? Take your time.
As far as I knew, Michael was the one dealing with interviewing the immigrants.
Hello, Harvey. Hello, Harvey.
Dan, I think somebody may be around here. I'll let you know.
Access denied. Please enter PIN.
You alright? Yeah, Mr. Miller's not bad.
Everything dated the 10th of the 4th, 1987, the day of the attack, has been boxed and archived and still needs reviewing. The phone records were particularly interesting to me. I've looked through about 20% of all the files I've collated as of yet, and I'm not sure exactly how much more I'm going to find. I'm certain I'm onto something big, but I fear it's going to take me a lot longer than I have to find what I need.
You alright, Mr. Miller? Oh, can't wait. That was bloody fish. How was that? Oh, can't wait. How can it be?
Hello, Mr. Miller. Please, come in.
Так, быстрее, быстрее, это мне сейчас надо как раз.
caution me.
Marlizzle. Hey, if it isn't the young Marlon Brando.
You caution me.
So I gather you've got some questions you'd like to ask me. I'll do my best to answer them. Please, sit down. Shall we begin? Is that what he said? That his keycard was stolen? Well, I don't think there's any way I could confirm or deny that for you, Mr. Miller. I'm not even sure what that would have to do with me. I don't believe it was stolen, so it would be futile for me to try and answer that. We were all responsible for our own key cards and security logins. Actual keys aren't used in this part of the building. It's all very cutting edge, so anything like that would have been solely down to Alex. That just seems like conjecture to me, Mr. Miller. It sounds far too convenient to say that he logged it as stolen on the day that it happened. If that's true, then where did he log it? At what time? Wouldn't security know about that? I'm sorry, but it's all a little too convenient for me. I wish I could do more, I really do, but unless you have a point, then I can't help you with that. I really don't understand that man's mind. He's hell-bent on dragging this company's name through the mud. Out of curiosity, what was his evidence? And I suppose I hid that from the police, did I? Well, like you said, there's no evidence at all. Thank you for your honesty, at least. Did I? A few things around here probably still use keys. It's outdated if you ask me. You won't find anything in the facility that uses them, though. Our security protocol won't allow them. But I think the older areas still have the old-fashioned key and lock. No. Marlon Thornton, the cleaner, he's the only person who uses them for stock rooms and locker rooms, you know.
Oh, that reminds me. If you're over at the Meta Centre later, you should take a look at the old Victorian baths. They're going to be knocked down soon, so you should take a look there before you go. No? They're just quite nice. I tell you what, I'll ask Marlon to open them up for you later on. If he's got time, then they'll be open for you when you go and have your meeting with Chance Crow. Anyway, he thinks I'm lying. That's not really news, Mr. Miller. I think anyone in the country could have told you what Alex thinks about what we do here. He has a twisted view of things. Out of curiosity, what is it he thinks is so bad about the act? Well, this is getting far-fetched. And I suppose I'm the one lying to the country. Don't answer that. I'm sorry, but I have to deal with this kind of accusation day in and day out. I guess it's an occupational necessity. No, and I don't suppose you will. The Union Act is a force for good, Mr. Miller, a force for peace and also ownership of our country. Is it going to please everybody? No, but in all honesty, what could? The protesters out there are chasing an impossible dream and they're lining up in droves to blame everyone else for its shortcomings. But let me ask you this. You've been here all morning. Do you think we're the bad guys? Exactly. And I can't think of anything that would. Listening to Alex talk must have been convincing, I'm sure, but when you're confronted with the overwhelming evidence here at the facility, well, I'm just glad you get to see things firsthand. Look, when you're dealing with a group, you have to represent them as a whole. There may be some shining examples of success out there, but it would be a lie for us to misrepresent all the ones causing the bigger problems. I shouldn't have asked you. It was unfair. You clearly don't understand the inner workings of what we do here. And that's admirable. I understand you have a job to do. Just make sure it doesn't interfere with ours, and I'm sure you'll do just fine. He says he wasn't in the building. Well, I don't know how he'd be able to back up that claim. The police found him not too far away from here, that's true, but it was within walking distance. He could have easily got where he did in time, and there's a whole bunch of other evidence. I'm sorry, I just don't see how he thinks that's going to hold any weight. Like who? No, I don't think so. I think it's quite cut and dry. I can't imagine someone else over in the Meta Centre doing it. They like to sound like they know what they're doing, but most of them are incompetent. I know for a fact that some of them use their room number for their alarm code, for God's sake. Does that sound convincing to you? Alex was the only one who really knew what he was doing, and anyway, it's like I said, there was more evidence, wasn't there? Well, for example, the argument we had the night of the attack. Alex and I were having a heated discussion that night. I know that's somewhat anecdotal, but to me it's as good as gold in terms of evidence. Wouldn't you agree? That must be a mistake, surely. I was sure... Maybe now that I think about it, I mean, that could have been earlier, perhaps. So, he was calling from outside the facility. It's hard to remember that night clearly now, but there it is. I'm sorry you think that. I wish you'd known him the way I did. Then there might be less doubt in your mind. It's easy, isn't it? to confuse things. As we've said, it was some time ago, so it's easy to forget the finer details. Nothing comes to mind. Excuse me, what? I didn't say anything about an alarm code. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I must have misspoken. Everyone in the Meta Centre is very careful with their security. I wouldn't... well, let's not dwell on that. No, it was another office. Can we please move on to a different subject, Mr. Miller? Don't you have something about my work that you'd like to ask at all? A vendetta against him? Well, that was blunt, but honestly, I'm not surprised. I wondered if you'd bring this up. It's rather troubling, but Alex and I never seemed to get on. And on the night of the attack, he threatened me. I didn't want to make this publicly personal, but it looks like he has anyway. Yes, he left me a voice message. He was very angry about something, and he took it out on me that night. I have no doubts in my mind that man is guilty of everything they say he did, and I'm frankly amazed that anyone would stand up for him. No offence. Well, you have done your research. I feel bad for what happened to Alex, I really do, but I can't be held responsible for every little action taken. It may have sounded like Alex was the victim, but I can assure you, I felt very threatened. By his message. You heard what he said. Everything that happens next is because of me. And we all know what happened next. Well, you don't sugarcoat your words, Mr. Miller. But tell me, what do you think about it? No, I suppose it doesn't. But I'm not here to defend my actions, Mr. Miller. Anyway, you heard the tape. I think it speaks for itself. Well, I don't envy you your job. Shall we move on? Okay, Mr. Miller, that's all I've got time for, I'm afraid. Can you please see yourself out?
Hi, I'm home.
Because the unicorns are hands tied by the law every time we have to make a decision. Yeah. But we won't be long. Just remember one. The world is changing around us. I agree. I have no idea why you're still wearing the same clothes you were wearing in the 70s. I'm not going to change your mind on this, am I?
Molly, better be in bed when I get up there.
Coop, will you talk some sense into your husband, please?
Well, I'm staying out of this one.
Right, on that note, I'll see myself out.
You and Carol still here for Sunday dinner?
Don't forget to pass that phone on to Sarah in the morning, okay?
Wouldn't miss it.
Well, Mr. Miller, thank you for being so respectful of the rules in our facility. You wouldn't believe the amount of people we have to tell to leave staff-only areas. Your next meeting is with Chance Crow very soon. Feel free to take a wander around in our gardens. I'll be waiting for you over in the Meta Center when you're ready to begin.
А и так интересно, типа сохранился или нет?
Right. I know most people couldn't be here today as it's the weekend, but I just want to thank everybody who was able to make it in. I guess I should start by saying that we will not be intimidated, that we will not stand without a fight. The people who stand against us, they don't want change. In fact, they fear it, and they won't stop until we fear it too. I'd also have to say...
Oh, not this again.
Yeah, sorry. I have a letter here from Mrs. Foster. Many of you may have known her son, who was sadly lost in the attack. She writes, My son was many things to me, and to those who knew him best. A loving brother, a good friend, and someone to make you laugh when times were at their hardest. I do not know all of you the way my beloved son did, but I like to think that all the things I saw in him, you also saw on a daily basis. Aaron wasn't the only person to be taken in that blast, but he is the only one I could talk about with any certainty. And that is to say this. He died knowing that every one of his colleagues will not let his death have been in vain. That the family he raised will not live in a world devoid of the presence of his actions. That his deeds whilst alive will live on through all of us in his death. And that we would not falter to do justice to his memory. To the memories of all the families affected in this terrible time. I do not know all of you the way my beloved son did, but I think fondly of you all, and I cherish the kindness you've shown our family in our time of need. Kindest regards, Jennifer Foster. Now, If we could all bow our heads, we'll observe a moment of silence.
That photo was taken the day before it all happened. How fragile a life can be. It can all shatter in an instant.
И только интересно, типа, сохранился или нет?
The server room that held all the information. Destroyed. If only it had been that easy. Dust was caked to every surface. It was hard to see anything. There were no obvious paths to take me to where Michael had been found. What was Michael even doing in there? He shouldn't have been. He should have come home from work, put Molly to sleep, and we should have been eating a curry on the sofa with a glass of wine, for God's sake. Looking back at where I started that night, I should have come back here to prevent it from happening. Oh, it was so close. I asked myself that 100 times. I've been through every scenario. What if things were different? Or what if I'd made different choices? I couldn't understand it at the time. Would it come to this? We were talking about the future. That seems so stupid now, doesn't it? There's no way I could have known. This would hopefully help me find my way a little better. All lives lost. James, he was round for dinner with Amy just 2 days before all this happened. In the basement. He'd cry out for help as Michael would pretend to be a tiger stalking him in the long grass. Torn to one another. Alone. The room they said Michael was found in. Did I cause this?
No magnetic data found.
Lives ruined. Torn. They woke up that morning, went to work and never returned. Michael's towel still sat on the floor where he left it. I can't bear to pick it up. He should be the one doing it. always told him to clean up after himself. He never listened. Heads were blown out. I pushed and clawed my way through. I had to see it. I had to see where I climbed. A nail, it tore my jumper. Can you believe it? My husband was found in the room next door, and for a split second, I actually paused to care about a torn jumper. Trapped. No exit. And they said all the metal was burning hot. Did he suffer? That's the not knowing, isn't it? That's what really haunts you. The silhouette server. Somehow it had survived the blast. The irony of it wasn't lost on me.
Чего? Лежит.
The disc was lodged in the pneumatic system. I thought about Michael. In his last moments, struggling to get to it. He knew that was the key to prevent the overheating. He had no hope of reaching the fuse box.
Окей.
pulling the cartridge out took me back to that night. The deep thud. Loss of power. Loss of hope. Carrying Michael twice was almost too much to bear.
А, вот все. Фух. Сейчас я охренел, потом еще раз бегать.
Apparently, security is tight in the meta center, so your second meeting might be a little harder. Try and give yourself another hour to prepare if you have the time. Alex Dubois worked for Chance Crow, so find out what he knows.
Ладно, на этом все. Завтра пройдем, скорее всего. Игра маленькая, но очень хорошая. До новых встреч.